Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices like Stay Cool. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today it's all about the time. Tick, 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 ticking down. And you're gonna be answering questions that you know on a normal day without fail. However, under that pressure, you're trying to stay cool and not only answer questions, but also answer them with dice. Today we're taking a look at Stay Cool. This is a party game for 3 to 7 players. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. Stay Cool is a party game where you're going to be answering 2 different types of questions simultaneously while this timer is running. You'll have 2 minutes, but you're going to be bombarded by questions. Some of them, which you'll have to take these dice and spell out the answer, and the other ones where you'll be verbally giving the answer. So the active player that round will be trying to answer questions. The player to the left will be using this red card, and another one to the left will be using this card. And there'll be another player tracking time. So what happens is the player with the red card will ask the question, and then this timer will flip. Now this is a 30-second timer. It's going to go through 4 iterations, so you have 2 minutes. Now what's happening is they're going to ask a question, like a place to lift weights. And you need to spell it out. It's always a 3 or 4 letter word. But right when this player finishes asking you that, you're going to be bombarded by the other player with a verbal question, like, which has the longest teeth? Dog, dolphin, rabbit, or shark? And you're thinking about that while you're trying to do this. It's the multitasking game where you're trying to do both together. So a place to lift weights. Okay, gym, right? So you're going to be looking here like, oh, here's a G, then you look for the Y, then you look for the, well, there's the M, and then you look for the Y. But sometimes the letter you need is on the backside of another die you've already used, and it's a little bit more tricky than you think. Now these are, oh, the Y is actually here, sometimes Y. I guess that's considered a vowel. And with the boom, done. So now that the player would immediately ask you the next question. It has the answer so that player knows when you're right. So then they say, you take this one going shopping so you don't forget anything. So I don't know, maybe a list. So you'd start doing this. Now this player's in the meantime asking you, well, you know, which has it? So what if I say dog? If I say the wrong answer, they just ask you it again. Which has the longest teeth? Dog, dolphin, rabbit, or shark? And if I'm not working on this, this player can ask me as many times as I want. You take this one going on shopping so you don't forget anything. You start working on this. This player asks you again, which has the longest teeth? Dog, dolphin, rabbit, or shark? And if you get it wrong, they ask you again. Let's say you say shark. You're like, okay, good. Shark was correct. Then they ask you the next one. Well, what year will it be in 12 years? Okay, so you're trying to figure that out. Now all this is going on. This is being flipped down here the 4 different times, so the 2 minutes over. Once it's over, you're going to get points. You're going to get the last one you got correct. Let's say we got this correct, okay? It would be 2 times the last one we got correct here. 1, it's going to be 1 point. 2 points. 2 times 1. But if you work your way down, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But these ones go 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. So you're working your way down, and that's your points for that round. Then you just move around. The next player clockwise, you know, is the active player, and then there's a whole stack of cards of both of these. It's a total of 1,500 questions between the 2 cards, and you just continue doing that. However, when it comes back to you for the next round, you'd have different cards, by the way, that they'd be asking you. When it's your turn to be the active player in the second round, you have to watch the timer in addition to what you're doing and say timer or flip. If you don't and it goes to the end, your turn has ended early and you basically get points for wherever you're at. The third round, because everyone's going to get this 3 rounds to play, the timer is covered by the box and you have to say when to flip the timer, but you can't see it. And when it runs out without you saying it, your turn ends. Whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. All right, Stay Cool does what I think a party game should do. It makes you laugh, makes you have fun, giggling, and you know, the atmosphere that this game brings to the table is exactly what a party game, in my opinion, should do. I like that the pressure of the timer and 2 things going on at once, trying to multitask, it basically changes easy questions into stumpers, where like normally you would be able to quickly figure out how many sides are on 4 rectangles and 2 triangles. But because there's something else going on, because you're thinking about the timer, like it short circuits your brain and you just kind of get like stuck. And it's just a very interesting experience. Now, a lot of times people say, I like party games that make you feel clever. You know, you think of code names and it's like, wow, that game really makes me feel clever. And a lot of people are like, that's what a party game should do. That's what I want a party game to do. This game actually does the opposite, but in that way is what makes this game what it is, because it makes you feel not clever, but in a fun way. And it's all about the fun. So, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, how did I not know that? Why couldn't I think of that? You know, and you just look so silly, but everybody ends up looking silly. So it's not like one person's being picked on, everyone will be laughed at, including yourself. You'll always be laughing at yourself here. So it's kind of like a twist on what normally people like about party games. This does the opposite, but it goes so far down that road that it's just really fun. I like that it ramps up the difficulty in further rounds by having to say when to flip the timer and then do it again without even being able to see the timer, which is so cool, because if you wait too late, turn's over, you just get very low points. But if you do it too soon, then you've left a lot of sand in there for the next spot, which means you're gonna have even less time for there. I think it's brilliant. I like that you can repeatedly be asking questions. So you ask a question to somebody and they're like standing there like deer in the headlights, and you ask it again. And then they start working on the dice and you ask it again. And they get it wrong and you ask it again. And like and when they're not working on the dice, the other player's bombarding and they're getting bombarded by questions. And it's just fun. It's just fun to watch their reactions and see deer in the headlight looks like the entire time. And this game, because of that, is a great spectator game. I talk about games that are fun to watch other people play. This is one that is as much fun to watch play than it is to play it. And more about that when I hit the negatives too, but this is just a great spectator game. It definitely creates memorable moments, which is what you want a game to do, what you definitely want a party game to do. You know, one of the players was under the gun, and she hates party games, and the question came up, and it was just one that's a variable question. It says, what is your biggest weakness? And the answer was party games. And we just started laughing because we knew that was the truth. She was being a trooper playing this game. And just later now, it's like a thing where like, if she made her own like superhero, like her weakness is party games. You know, and that's a memorable moment. Or like, you know, what year is it 12 years from now? Well, normally that's very easy, especially since we're in 2020 and the math's done easy. But with all that stuff going on, you just sit there and you give the wrong answers. And it just makes these memorable moments like, yeah, you can't even add 12. You know, you laugh at each other later. It just, or that one time I had like, you know, 4 rectangles and 3 triangles. How many total sides are those? Like, oh my gosh. And then it took me like 6 different tries where normally I should be able to do that in just one really quickly. And then there's like, I'm not gonna spoil the question, but there was a trick question that I thought I knew the answer to. Everyone would say the same answer, but it's not that. It was something very different because it was a trick question. And those types of things create memorable moments. On the negative side of things, this definitely is not for those who don't like real-time pressure or the spotlight. If you're one of those people that don't like everyone looking at you, you don't like being under real-time pressure, definitely not the game for you. However, back to what I said originally, where this is a really great spectator game, even if you don't like that aspect, you'll like asking the questions, being part of the game, or even buying it for other people and watching them play it, because that part is fun. Because I think this is such a unique game and it is memorable, it's definitely getting a Saxophone Serenade and being inducted into my gaming library. So without further ado, let's hit it. Did you miss the Game Topper 2.0 Kickstarter? Have no fear, it's not too late to get in on the ultimate gaming accessory. Convert your table into a high-quality gaming table with a fully portable Game Topper system and take advantage of some of the best 3mm premium gaming mats in the industry. New styles, new sizes, and new accessories can be yours. Upgrade every game you play by late backing now at GameToppersLLC.com.